Yeah, I never really believed in myself academically in high school, and then at MCC it was a little bit better. I tried, I applied myself more, and then, having kids, it's rough, and you kind of realize it like, wait, I can do way more than I thought I could, And so coming here has just been it's just been like a dream come true, just to feel like I'm applying myself and I'm passionate and I'm interested in what I'm studying, and I feel like it can help people. So it's been great, and it's been a big confidence booster, and it's a good example for my kids. They talk about getting a master's, which I didn't even know that when I was 10, so it's great.
Because coming to ASU, I had felt like my college experience so far, I didn't really have great access to a sense of community, which is something that's really important to me. So coming to ASU, that was my main goal. Obviously, academics first, but then making sure I was joining clubs and organizations and other involvements and meeting people that shared interests and passions with me. That way I could really establish those communities for me here. That was like my #1 goal, and I think that really ended up working out well for me, because whether it was involvement in Heather's Lab or involvement in the organizations I've done, or dance, or even just getting close with the roommates that I have, I found a sense of identity and purpose in those communities. And so that's the one tip I would give a transfer student, is to really encourage them to dive into everything ASU has to offer, because there's so much and there's something for everybody.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I'm a senior in psychology. And before I transferred to ASU, I went to Ashok Gamage and I saw an advertisement about Dr. Wynn's lab. And I was immediately interested, because I've always loved animals. But I liked more the behavior than the biology. So I was like, I don't care if that's what I'm doing for my career, like I'm probably gonna do something else, but I wanna be a part of that lab, because it's so cool and so unique that ASU has that. Absolutely, I'd recommend that. That's been the main part of my ASU experience outside of classes, and I've loved it. It's really cool. It's a great way to get involved, and it's, especially if you're looking to go to graduate school or something with psychology, it's really helpful to have research.
I think by that point, I had kind of gotten over the fact that you're like a new kid, or like you don't know this person very well, and it's just kind of like, well, that's okay. Like, even if I had been here 2 years, this person probably still wouldn't know me very well. It's all right to generate this conversation and make this connection. And ultimately, I think it's putting yourself out there to have opportunities.
What I liked about community college is that it's a bit smaller, and it was like much easier to sort of know my classmates. Right. And ASU, if you sort of never sat in on like a 400-person lecture, it's very difficult to sort of know your classmates. And so these are the people who you'll like ask, like, oh, can I see your notes? Or, oh, I like missed class for X, Y, or Z reason. And so like being able to sort of find the community that you sort of found so valuable in community college, sort of my biggest advice for a transfer student. And then the sort of next advice is sort of get involved in the university. And so like coming to sort of ASU, there's sort of the transition from sort of not being super certain about like what I wanted to do in the future, and then sort of identifying that the thing that I found interesting was psychology. And initially, when I sort of transferred to ASU, I had only really known about sort of clinical psychology, so I thought I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. But a thing that I really benefited from was sort of ASU's breadth and depth requirements, which I'm not sure if that's the way they still frame it, but you were encouraged to sort of take different sorts of psychology classes. And so I took cultural psychology and social psychology and cognitive psychology and learning and behavior. And so I was exposed to all these different types of a thing that I thought was really interesting. And then from there, I was able to sort of specialize in like, okay, the things that I find most interesting are social psychology and cognitive psychology. And so I was able to sort of take my depth courses and like focus on learning more about those things. And so definitely thinking about sort of their transition is the opportunity to sort of begin specializing and finding sort of the things that you find interesting, because that's sort of what's going to keep you motivated and sort of coming back to this big place.
Make sure you find something that you're passionate about. I would say that makes school so much more meaningful and exciting and fun, and push yourself and, you know, challenge yourself. Don't accept, you know, what you've set your boundary for yourself. Keep pushing it, because you're capable of so much more.